Your mate Donald Trump's signed a load of executive orders when he came in to repeal Joe Biden-era laws. If you got into number 10, what would be the first law that you would repeal?
Well, the first thing we have to do is we have to get rid of the ECHR. We have to get back the ability to decide, can we really control our borders, who comes and lives here? And I think that would, do you know what? I think 3/4 of the country would cheer to the rafters.
Kemi Badenoch, the leader of the Conservative Party, appears to be preparing to jump on the same bandwagon.
So, we will review every policy, treaty and part of our legal framework, including the ECHR and the Human Rights Act.
But the claim, often repeated by right-wing politicians, that the ECHR is blocking the UK from deporting migrants is not entirely true for two very specific reasons. Firstly, the European Court of Human Rights can only step in under very specific circumstances. As a bastion of human rights, the ECHR can prevent deportations if the asylum seeker in question faces a real risk of torture or degrading treatment in the country they would be sent to in violation of Article 3 of the ECHR. And surely that's a good thing, isn't it? But the second and perhaps even more important reason why this particular claim is false
We need to leave the ECHR so we can deport people that come illegally.
is that the legal principle of non-refoulement is not just based on the ECHR. It's also a core principle of international law. The non-refoulement principle forbids countries from deporting people to a country which could threaten their life or freedom based on things like their race, religion or nationality. In fact, it's a key component not just of the ECHR, but of other international agreements, including the UN's 1951 Refugee Convention, the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, and the UN Convention Against Torture. So when you hear politicians say this,
We need to leave the ECHR so we can deport people that come illegally.
Please remember that even if the UK left the ECHR, it would still be bound by other international obligations and treaties. The simple fact is that if you want to give yourself a completely free hand internationally, you would have to withdraw not only from the ECHR, but also from the Refugee Convention and the United Nations Convention Against Torture. Just think about that. And leaving the ECHR would be a devastating blow to the UK's reputation within Europe and beyond as a country that accepted basic human rights obligations.
It would be a devastating blow to the UK's reputation within Europe and beyond as a kind of, as a country that accepted basic human rights obligations.
So what's the real motive behind leaving the ECHR? Well, let's not forget the European Convention on Human Rights protects our right to a fair trial, freedom of assembly and expression, the right to participate in free elections, freedom of religion, freedom from discrimination, the right to privacy, freedom from torture and degrading treatment. The ECHR has also protected British people from abuses of power by its own government. And if all that's not enough for you, leaving the ECHR could result in the UK's trade deal with the EU being terminated because the convention is written into the 2020 Trade and Cooperation Agreement. And leaving the ECHR would also breach the Good Friday Agreement, which requires that the convention be directly enforceable in Northern Ireland.